It's not that. It's just there's like multiple phases you have to go through. So I'm just doing the first one. No, it's not made for kids. Nothing I make is made for kids.
Yeah, I did that yesterday. I said nothing I make is for kids.
Okay, I'm just seeing. Why is this taking so long?
Are we gonna watch the debate?
No, I just put that up. That's it.
Okay.
I
I
just.
haven't watched one since the first two when we did
Oh,
the
is it
stream.
live
Is
now?
there a debate tonight?
No, I'm just okay. Let me see.
Oh,
Are we live? And this is
we
just.
might be live
Let
because
me.
I'm watching you now.
Okay, let me see. This is. Oh, prepare yourselves. Okay.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay, because it's okay.
Just keep going.
Okay, so just for those of you who have no idea what the fuck was just happening there, what happens with like the new YouTube thing is normally there's like a two stage, like you have to start streaming and then you have to hit a go live button. But I guess we just went straight live. So hello everybody, it's me Arjun with typical boomer technical problems, and I'm joined here by my good buddy Serp Kerp, who recently put out a hilarious video about the Democratic primaries, and I wanted him to come on and just kind of talk about it because it's
Well,
hilarious.
I don't even know what to say, to be honest, about. I haven't been watching any debates, like I just said, if that got in this video. I haven't been watching debates for like since the first two. And now it's devolved into, as I said and you quoted, four skeletons in the Antichrist. It's like, how is Biden winning? What the fuck is happening?
I
No, he keeps beating people. Like Kamala, like rised up and he slaps her down. Warren rises up and he slaps her down. And I swear, Buttigieg's gonna rise up and he's gonna slap Buttigieg down.
like he doesn't even like he looks like he's like I don't know if anyone here has ever seen the movie Insurrection, the Star Trek movie, but they're these people who are super old and they constantly have like this machine that scratches their skin and like staples it onto their face. It like Biden's got hideous plastics. He looks like he's about to die any second now.
Is he 77 or 76?
He might be 78. Let me see here.
I think
No,
he's
maybe.
78 if he was elected on inauguration.
Let me see here. Joe Biden is 77.
That's so. I mean, Trump is very, very, very old to be a leader like that, too. Trump is 73, but. So, Warren is 70, Bernie Sanders is 78, Joe Biden's 77, and Bloomberg is 77. It's literally four skeletons in the Antichrist.
I admit maybe I'm stupid. I thought Kamala had a good chance.
I thought she had a better chance than what happened. Like, I thought she would make it through and win a few states. I didn't know that she would, like, literally attack Biden, then rise up to number two, then just fucking explode. Like, I didn't think that would happen. I
I
also thought that I thought Castro was going to rise up due to being so
I
articulate and
actually
actually
thought
having
Castro.
position.
I actually, if you had have asked me to bet, I would have bet on him or Kamala.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I thought like Buttigieg probably is the Antichrist, and this is the end of times because it's like, how does he have number four or whatever? How is some no-name mayor that's gay from fucking some small town in Indiana, some small college town in Indiana, just fucking crushing?
You
Like,
know,
how is he like? How is like Kamala Harris and all, and like I thought there would be some governors that would rise up. There would be like centrists, and I just thought Biden would just like fail, and people would
no,
just
they kicked the
like I thought he
centrist
was gonna
governor
win.
out for saying that illegal immigrants shouldn't get free health care before American
Oh, that was
citizens.
my governor, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got.
Like,
He's like, why are we giving it to illegal immigrants and not Americans? And it's just like,
like how is
shut down, shut it down.
I don't That's all I can say. I don't know how much of a scream you got. It's like 4 minutes. I don't know what's happening. Like, it's scary because Trump, like, is Trump just going to be beaten by Biden? Is Biden just going to, like, flip, like, the Midwest blue again and that's all she wrote?
I thought Biden was only like was
I thought he
solely
was
on name recognition. Yeah.
alone. And I thought, like, he would just be. He's gaffed so many. Have you seen the video of, like, him talking about, like, little kids playing with his leg hair in a like a swimming pool?
Yeah. I might have. I've seen like the one like the racial ones he's done. Like you can't work at a Dunkin' Donuts in Baltimore unless you have like a slight Indian accent. It was something like that.
What the fuck?
The best one was when there was the disabled guy, the paraplegic guy, and he's like, "Everyone's clapping for you. Stand up and take a bow." And he's like, "Oh, God love you. Well, you're making everybody else stand up." Which was amazing. Like Biden's like
Fucking unstoppable. Like, he's a beast. Like, he keeps slapping people down when they rise up. Like Biden or like Bernie's just like putting his head over his heels and he's just like watching like the corpse of Kamala slapped around by Biden. He's watching like the corpse of Warren getting slapped around by Biden. And he's just like, be number 2, Bernie.
So the establishment actually hates Bernie, don't they? Like
The establishment doesn't like Biden. Like, the establishment is trying to throw their hands behind Buttigieg, and they tried to throw their hands behind Kamala Harris.
what happened with Castro? Because he seemed like the logical person to run to me.
I think that he's just too, like,
Radical.
he's just too smart or something. I don't know.
Because he was like very coherent speaker. He's male. He's Hispanic. He's really radical. He can talk like he doesn't sound like he's mentally retarded, which I think Elizabeth Ward sounds like she's like.
She sounds like she's on the deathbed, too.
Yeah, they all do. They all just like what the fuck? Does like to me, if I was like some up and coming Democrat, this is like an election I'd want to run in because they have a very good chance of beating Trump just by like almost default.
Florida's probably fucked now. Like, they've been moving like people around in like Pennsylvania and Florida and stuff like that, trying to make sure they'll go blue.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like this tectonic warrior is right. Every time somebody says Castro, they just think of Castro from Cuba.
That could be it. But he sounded like he was like one of the few ones who didn't sound like they were like had Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
Boogie says Warren sounds like the ex-wife you're happy to pay alimony to never hear again. Yes, that is 100%.
10,000% true. Fact check, true.
How is okay? The weirdest thing about Buttigieg is just that he doesn't sound gay.
I mean, he didn't become gay until after gay marriage was like legalized, I think, by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
He didn't come out until after that. Like, when he ran in his first term, according to E. Michael Jones, he had a girlfriend.
He reminds me so much of Nicholas Carpathia though from the Left Behind series.
Well, doesn't he doesn't he just like quote Bible quotes in the middle of his speeches and stuff?
Yeah. Remember during the debates where he just started bringing up like it's our Christian duty to...
Yes. You know he's going to win Iowa. Like, he's already gonna like monster sweep Iowa, apparently.
You mean like monster vote or just sweep Iowa?
He's gonna sweep Iowa. It looks like he's gonna win Iowa pretty handily.
Will that matter though?
Easily. No, Iowa doesn't really matter. It just what matters is who stays in to Super Tuesday. And
Right.
usually it's like one like person who's an underdog, like Rubio. I think no, it was Cruz that won Iowa last time.
Yeah. Didn't Ron
So
Paul win it once?
maybe I know he did good there. I don't know if he won it
Or
because
he,
it's often like really close because it's like a state of like 2 million people or something probably or 2.5 million people, and it's like every major politician running for president is like doing everything they can there for like a year straight. So it becomes this really weird skewed thing to where like what Iowa votes for isn't what the rest of the primaries vote
but
for.
there people are obsessed with thinking it is.
Yeah, because there's four primaries before Super Tuesday,
New Hampshire is South Carolina one, or is it North Carolina?
and South Carolina and Nevada.
Right.
So like what I think is going to happen is Buttigieg is going to win Iowa. Then Sanders, possibly Warren, but most likely because Warren seems like she's deflating now. She peaked and now she's like falling down because she like threatened the Biden and Biden just slapped her aside, like the metal and Tenacious D.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Sanders will probably win New Hampshire, maybe Warren, and then Biden's probably going to win South Carolina because Biden probably has that black vote on name recognition
Right.
and of being moderate and not being perceived as racist or gay. Like, because I think Buttigieg is like, I think 5% of black Democrats or less than 5% support him. Or it's like astronomically like 99% of blacks don't support him or something like
What
that.
about Hispanics?
I don't know.
Because
Like
that
he's apparently accused, according to E. Michael Jones, he's accused of like rampant police brutality against blacks in South Bend. Because E. Michael Jones lives in South Bend because he used to work at Notre Dame and got kicked out. Or he worked at St. Mary's, which is there's two Catholic colleges in South Bend. The more famous one is Notre Dame, and the less famous one is I think it's St. Mary's or something like that. And that's where E. Michael Jones worked before he got kicked out, at least according to him. Because I mean, he says he got kicked out for supporting abortion. Maybe he just got kicked out for being E. Michael Jones.
that sounds very likely.
So any, I don't. I mean, I really appreciate E. Michael Jones, but yeah. Anyway, so there's a few in there. It's just a college town, but he's accused of being like rampantly racist towards blacks. So he has like no black support, and it seems like with Cory Booker being widely perceived as gay and creepy, blacks don't support Cody Booker, and Blackston. Kamala Harris has dropped out, so it seems like Biden's going to win the black vote, which means he'll take South Carolina. And I don't know what's happening in Nevada. Maybe we should look up real fast and see. Again, it's pretty far out because Nevada's in February.
Is doesn't South Carolina like actually matter?
Um, well, all those states matter to an extent. I mean, South Carolina probably matters the most in terms of it has the most delegates because it's the most populous there.
Also, it's a swing state.
No, it's not. It's a heavy red state.
Oh, I'm thinking of South Carolina.
I'm thinking of North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at Nevada real clear.
I still think Yang can win this.
I think Yang is either in fifth. I think Yang is either in fifth or sixth place, tied with Bloomberg.
That's hilarious.
And Bloomberg just entered the race, and apparently, what Bloomberg is doing is he's spending like millions and millions of dollars. Like he's just skipping the first four states and spending millions of dollars on Super Tuesday states, just skipping them outright. Well, he's probably going to win New York. So it's going to be really weird because all these people are going to drop out, and then Bloomberg's going to come out of nowhere as a contender, and everybody's going to be like, "What? How did this happen?" And it's like, Well, he's the governor of the most populous city, or he was the mayor of the most populous city
Mm-hmm.
in New York. Of course, he won the New York caucuses.
Who's gonna win California? Biden?
I think it was like they did a California one, and it was like Sanders was winning by 1% over Biden. So I don't know. I don't know who Hispanics are going to support.
I guess the white vote is kind of
Okay,
split
so
between.
like according to this, Biden's crushing in Nevada, according to Real Clear Politics. I'm
Interesting.
looking at California. California is a complete clusterfuck. Like it's nobody knows what's going on. It's a three-way tie.
Between Sanders, Biden, and Buttigieg.
Warren, no
Oh, Warren.
Warren. That's so old. Harris is in the polls.
I don't know if like Buttigieg can make it through the primary. Do you think like he'll like lose and then the super delegates will just give it to him?
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
I think the super delegates. I think the media hates Biden, but the insiders are kind of like lukewarm support him.
Right.
Like the party at lukewarm supports him, and like the media of the party dislikes him. Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll accept Biden. They're not going to like actively like hate on him. It's not like Biden's Trump, but it's like Biden's like I wish we had Kamala. That makes sense.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be his running mate?
If Biden wins,
Yeah.
no, probably a minority. He'll probably do the reverse of what Obama did with him.
Julian Castro would probably be a good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so did you want to talk about how I thought in the future
Oh, sure. Go
there's
ahead.
going to be
Yep.
three political parties?
Uh-huh.
Can you explain how there's three parties in Canada to everyone?
Okay, so in Canada we have three main. Well, we actually have like technically four, but the bloc only runs in Quebec. So we have a conservative party, a liberal party, and the New Democratic Party, which is a socialist party. And the liberals are, I guess you could call them economically centrist. I would call them like left, far left socially. But the NDP is like far left socially, but also like economically socialist. Um, but technically speaking, it's perceived the Liberals are perceived as a centrist party, and the NDP is perceived as being the left wing party, and the Conservatives are perceived as being the right wing party.
So what I think is going to happen is that I think that the so-called Democratic Socialist of America caucuses within the Democratic Party will split off, and the United States will mirror the political system which exists in Canada.
The NDP never wins that many. They only won a bunch.
I don't
of
think
seats
that the Democratic Socialists of America Stand-in Party, which would be made up of people like the Four Horsemen of the Browning women or whatever.
Uh-huh.
What are their names? The foot fetish girl that Jewish guy always talks about, the horse face, and the Palestinian and the Somali and stuff. And then I think there's just a normal like Mexican in there too. What are they like?
I don't remember.
The squad. Ocasio Cortez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like those people will eventually form a kind of like, what is it called? The NDP.
NDP.
NDP. It'll be an NDP in the United States, and it'll like dominate like urban New York or like California. But the Democratic Party and the Republican Party will be like control the government.
It's interesting. Yeah, the NDP dominates. In a lot of Western Canada, there's only a Conservative Party and the NDP. The Liberal Party doesn't exist. in like Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Alberta. The Liberal Party effectively doesn't exist there. It's just the NDP and the Conservatives, because the Liberals don't have anything to offer rural people, so they just aren't popular there. So I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. So you think they'd be another urban party, or would one
I
of them
think
become
that
more rural?
no, I don't think that they have any appeal because Blue Dog Democrats will still exist in this kind of world. Because Blue Dog Democrats would probably just stay in the Democratic Party. The
Right.
reason that they would exist, they're kind of like a primarily racial and Yas woman party.
Right. Um. Yeah, the Democratic Party. I mean, something that often happens is when one party becomes super dominant, and the other party has no chance of winning at all. Um, what can happen is it just splits up because it's so dominant. So maybe in like a state like California, I could definitely see there being a third party that's strong. Because don't the Republicans basically not exist there anymore? Like,
Yeah, people. So as you explained, there's a jungle primary. So one of the reasons that Hillary won by 2% of the popular vote is because Californians didn't vote Republican ones because there was nobody to vote for in the Senate.
right. When was the last time there was a Republican senator from California?
I think the odds
Yeah,
because there was there was the Save Our State initiative, which was kicked out by the Constitution,
right,
or was declared unconstitutional, which was addressing illegal immigration.
right. How did Arnold win?
Name recognition, and he was really moderate.
Right. Let's see here.
Like Arnold didn't address any social; he was purely economic.
Right. I think he also brought in like public health care and like some other stuff.
No, they don't have public health care. They attempted to do it, but they weren't even able to pass that, despite the Democrats. I'll look up the Democrat House in California in a second.
Yeah, don't they have a supermajority?
I just wonder if it's like 70% of the total.
I think it's filibuster proof at this point.
No, it is. There's no opposition.
So I could see there definitely being like a further left party.
No, I think that there's going to develop a further left party in the United States, and it will mirror Canada. And like the Lib Dems, there's a three-party system in the UK, but instead it's the Lib Dems are the weak, like it's reversed the left-wing parties.
Mm-hmm. Or the Lib Dems are theoretically the more. Yeah, it's weird though, because a lot of it is like a class thing. Like I think the Lib Dems are very middle class, whereas Labor, at least historically, was more working
Okay,
class.
do you want me to tell you?
Sure.
So there's 80 seats in the California State Assembly, the lower body. 61 are Democrats, 18 are Republicans, and one is independent.
Right.
So it's like, really, really, really super majority.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the state senate.
Is West Virginia that much for Republicans?
No, because it's kind of an urban thing
Right.
that happens in because because there's blue dog Democrats in the United States. It's kind of a weird thing for people because, like, in my state, Montana, there'll be so my governor ran and he was like far to the right of everyone on the stage, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
Bullock Bullock is probably like further right than say like maybe not Jeb but Kasich was.
Mm-hmm.
And Bullock like he'll run on like he'll have this they run on union support and environmentalism. in Montana,
Right.
and they don't talk about social issues. Like they softly support Planned Parenthood and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be very pro gun rights and stuff. That's what a blue dog Democrat looks like.
Right.
Very pro gun rights, and is like focuses on helping like unions and stuff.
Environmentalism's very popular there, isn't it?
In Montana, environmentalism is like massively popular, like bipartisan popular between the left wing and the right wing.
Isn't that because of like random people coming in and destroying your state or something like that?
Um, well, it's because in the 1970s there was a plan to like extract all the coal and everything, and then a bunch of farmers didn't want that to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
it led to the Constitution being rewritten to be very environmentalist. And there's also there's common land or like state-owned land that's owned by the state of Montana, public land, and that's where everybody does recreation such as hunting. So people are very pro conservation of state-owned land, and they don't want a state and federal owned land. They don't want it to be sold off to private people, especially corporations, which will extract mining resources
And destroy it.
because Montana has had a long history of exploitation in mining, and major corporations will abandon the mines and lead to massive environmental failures. So in Butte, there's a massive hole in the ground, which is taught like one of the most famous stories is a flock of geese landed in the Berkeley pit and died instantly because of how acidic the water is. And if there was ever an earthquake in Butte, the Berkeley pit would break open and kill the entire town, which would be 30,000 people would die.
Right.
And like Libby is also a super fun site, and Coal Strip is going to look that way pretty soon.
Right.
So there's been a long history of mining companies abusing, exploiting. Um, Butte was the number one copper or one of the top five copper places in the world until the 1970s. And the town was so the Anaconda Copper Company was owned by Standard Oil, and Standard Oil owned all the newspapers in Montana, for instance.
Right.
So, like, the state would prevent labor unions from forming and stuff in Montana. So Montana had a lot of socialists and mayors and wobblies and stuff during the early 20th century and late 19th century. And there was like during World War One, Butte was put under like military control to prevent uh, a strike.
Right.
It's just a long history of mistrust of corporations due to their abuse and support for environmentalism.
Right.
The California State Senate, by the way, is made up of 40 members, and 29 of which are Democratic. One is then there's 10 Republicans and one empty seat.
Mm-hmm.
So 75% of both houses are controlled by Democrats in California.
Yeah. The Republicans still control more states, don't they?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because there's so many states that are below populations.
Yeah.
So what's really famous is in rural states. Rural states will have 60% of like 55 or 60% of people in those states will be Republican, and then 40% will, or maybe like 30% will be blue dog Democrats,
Right.
and then 10% will be regular Democrats. While in like major metropolitan areas, say like um, Cook County and New York and stuff, the vast majority will be like standard left wing Democrats, and then the rural areas will be split between blue dog Democrats and Republicans.
Aren't there?
So actually, it would help the United States a lot if a DSA party started because it might form a blue dog Democrat party. or at
Right.
least a much more moderate party, Democratic Party,
Mm-hmm.
because the DSA party wouldn't exist in places like Montana or Wyoming or Idaho or Iowa, because Iowa will go blue, for instance, because of how strong blue dog Democrats are there.
Why did they go for Trump?
Um,
Populism?
because most blue dog, a lot of, so part of the monster vote was blue dog Democrats switching to Republicans. The same reason that Reagan got the monster vote in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing known as like Reagan Democrats.
Right. What was their issue with Hillary?
Um, Hillary's generally unlikable, but Trump had protectionist politics,
Right.
economic views, and Trump like openly stated that he wasn't anti-union, and he'd say like pro-union stuff sometimes, a lot
Right.
of times actually.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because Trump is economically probably to the left of Hillary.
Yeah, probably. Well, the left is extremely pro free market now. Um,
Yeah, in the United States, ever since Trump's victory, the left has become really, really, really pro-free market.
Especially free trade. Free trade, like protectionism, is now just considered a form of racism. Like just
Mm-hmm.
in general. Um, but yeah, it's Joe Biden though. Doesn't he like give Blue Dog Democrats a hard on?
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I have a friend from Pennsylvania, and he tells me that like if Biden's so moderate and Biden's such a traditional blue dog Democrat that Trump will have no chance. It'll just be all these blue dog Democrat boomers just switching back, and Trump will lose.
The boomers. The boomer. The one final fuck you from the boomers.
Well, no, I don't like TRS that much, but they said if Biden wins, it would be like the boomers going off into the sunset behind him.
Pretty
Like
much.
he's like riding a horse off into the sunset before like the race war begins or something.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Boomers rise up. The boomers versus the gamers in a battle for I don't know.
Do you want to talk about UK elections?
Sure. It looks like the conservatives are going to like win in a landslide. Although they're
Yeah,
although
yeah, that's what I see.
this stuff came out about them trying to privatize the NHS, which could fuck them if it gains any
Um,
traction.
yeah, but doesn't matter. Like ended up happening is because of how divisive Brexit is that Lib Dems are solidly anti-Brexit, and Labour is viewed as lukewarm pro or before and now lukewarm anti-Brexit. And now under Boris Johnson, the Tories are like solid Brexit. So the Lib Dems are going to split Labour's vote no matter what happens.
Right. Also, UKIP doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, UKIP doesn't exist anymore, and the Brexit Party's polling at like 3% or something low, like crazy low.
They were actually tied with the conservatives briefly, but I think because of Boris Johnson taking such a hard line, holy shit! The latest polls of the conservatives up to 40%.
Yeah, they're going to sweep. It's going to be a blue map because what's going to happen is that Labor's going to split really hard between Lib Dems. So Labor's going to lose probably like 100 seats or something crazy, and then Lib Dems are going to gain like 20, and then Conservatives are going to gain like 80 probably. I swear it's going to be that like
Although the
split.
Lib Dems are losing now, losing a bunch of support. Looks like Labor is recovering somewhat.
they've started, but Lib Dems are still, I think, double what they were in the last election.
Probably something.
They're going to, well, if they gain like 10 seats, they still did good for like a pretty marginalized.
The Conservatives are leading by on average about 10 to 11%. And in a first past the post electoral system, that's a lot. They'll probably sweep, they'll sweep England. Um, Scotland is just irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because the SNP doesn't like participate in the system.
Yeah, they don't coalition with anyone, so it doesn't really matter. Sinn Féin doesn't matter. Um, I don't know. The DUP, aren't they kind of fucking... I don't know too much about it. My understanding is they were kind of fucking up the Brexit.
Yeah, because part of Brexit has to... Because Brexit will ruin the Ulster Agreement, the Easter Agreements in 1998.
Right.
And the Troubles is kind of heating up a little bit right now. Right. And you know, I want to save my race. I want to save my people. So I want Brexit to go through and the 1998 Easter talks to fall through. And I want the Troubles to begin again in Irish identity, the blossom 1,000 flowers. Because I think that the only way for the Irish people to be saved is
if violence. They get reconquered by the United Kingdom.
No, is if the Troubles lights up full blast again, and if there's serious like Irish on Ulster Scot violence.
I don't know.
I think that's the only way to wake the Irish up.
I want to put down the Irish rebels and reincorporate them.
Shut up, you dirty bastard.
Dirty Anglo. Eternal Anglo.
You dirty Anglo, motherfucker. You pressing my people?
Yeah, I mean the English were real dicks in Ireland. I'm not going to pretend they weren't. The Scots bitching though kind of gets on my nerves. They didn't really do bad under the English Empire, but the British Empire. But yeah, I don't know. I never know what's going to happen with Northern Ireland because I don't think like separatism is that big there anymore. Compared to
Ireland?
In Northern Ireland.
Well, it doesn't matter. What matters is violence, not how popular support the violence has, because the violence will make people take sides.
Right.
And what's happened is that the dissident IRA groups haven't until recently been targeting. They target drug dealers and like women kidnappers that like sell women in the sexual slavery. Like they fight crime. The IRA now, the neo IRA.
That is LARPian based.
You've never seen the videos of them?
No.
You should. It's pretty LARPian based.
That's amazing.
They're like, we need to rid Ireland of drugs. And then they like kneecap like drug dealers in the streets and stuff.
That's amazing.
Instead of kneecapping Ulster Scot.
That's amazing. But you want them to stop that and go back to political violence?
I want my race to be saved. We're ruled by a gay curry. We're ruled by gay curry right now. Okay? That's not a good situation.
Ireland. Yeah, it's a shit show there. Ireland is one of the most paused countries on earth. I think they're going to legalize incest soon. I think that's like going to be the next big referendum. Because why not? Based in IRA pilled. The dirty Anglo. Physical removal of drug dealers and Anglos. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I think that's a good place to put a bookend in it. I think we covered everything that we wanted to talk about. So I just wanted to thank everybody for showing up to the stream. I hope you guys.
You
Oh.
want to address the impeachment before?
Oh. Okay. Sure.
So I don't think Trump is going to be impeached. I think Styx Hexenhammer is right about it, and if they attempt to impeach Trump, it'll backfire and help Trump, and it'll give Trump a lot of support in the election, the same way Kavanaugh did in
Right.
2018. It softened the blue wave, and I think if they actually attempt it and it gets into the Senate, it'll be a nightmare because it could perceivably pull Sanders and Warren off the campaign trail.
Right. Well,
And
won't the Republicans just stop it in the Senate?
yeah, and then the war turtle will just McConnell will just pull it in, like just slow it really down and just ask for blood.
But doesn't it like not matter what the House votes? Because isn't it the Senate that convicts?
It's the Senate that decides, and the Senate is 53 Republican, I think two independents and 45 Democrats.
Uh huh.
So yeah, it's not going to go very well.
No.
They actually attempt it because it's going to fall on really partisan and slight cleavage of like blue dog Democrats towards Trump, because what they're pulling Trump on is like very obscure and it's not very convincing. And the thing is, if you compare it with both Clinton and especially with Nixon, nobody's interested. It's just very
I
politically
don't even really
savvy.
understand like what it
No,
is.
most people don't understand. It's very like complex. You need to pay attention like daily to know what's happening.
You
And the
need
only
to.
people that are interested in it are very savvy Democrats. Republicans don't care, or they don't think it's like they think it's all a circus, and independents think it's boring and it's just stupid bullshit. The Democrats, it's only their very hardcore base which like are interested in it. Maybe like the majority of their base would support Trump being impeached somehow, but it's not going anywhere.
Well, no one knows like what the fuck it even is about.
Yeah, nobody talks about it anywhere where I live.
Hmm. Um, it's just like they couldn't come up with anything better to try to impeach him under on. Like that's it. That's what they came up with.
I know. But yeah, go back to it. Somebody just asked that question, and since it's going on, it's kind of relevant.
Oh right. Yeah, I don't think Trump's gonna get. Well, I don't think it's possible for him to get impeached while the Republicans control the Senate. So I think the whole thing is just a massive waste of time, and is not going to achieve anything. So if you're done, I think that's a good place to.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. I really appreciate everyone coming on.
Yep. Thanks for
I
showing
know
up,
I'm
man.
sorry for not coming on recently. Arjun, as he said before, he's moved. I've moved. We could stream a lot of times if we wanted to. I know one thing we've been thinking about doing has been playing cooperative games online and streaming that. But we'll have to figure out a way how to do that.
Yep. Okay. So good night, everybody. God bless. Have